You are now listening to the Lasting Legacy Podcast.
Welcome back, guys. Another episode of the Lasting Legacy Podcast. Before we start, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to like it. It takes like 2 seconds, and if you don't like it, then don't even watch the video. Thank you. Anyway, today we got two special guests. We have JR and Los. They are co-owners of the new shop called Blended Barber, among other things. And that's kind of what we're going to be chatting about today. So thank you guys for coming by.
Thanks for having us, man. For sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm David. I own David Took It, and usually I ask the questions. So you wanna start it off? Tell us a little bit about yourself, JR.
Okay, so I've been licensed for about 9 years in March, cutting hair for a little over 10 on the side. Working with Los here for those whole 9 years out at Aguilar's in Pueblo West.
Hell yeah. Los, what about you? How long have you been cutting hair?
I've been cutting hair since I was 13 years old. It started off as a hobby, and I wanted to be a basketball player when I grew up, but I got into some trouble and ended up going to prison when I was 16. I got tried as an adult, and while I was in there, I finished up my high school education, got some college, and then I did barber school in there. I'll be 42 next month.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a long time, man. You don't want my life story.
I was going to say, you've been cutting hair longer than I've been alive.
We'll be here all day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's so awesome, cool. Though. Absolutely. Now, did you become a certified barber while incarcerated?
While I was in prison, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I got the facility let me go out and test, and it was crazy because then we had to bring in a live model, and we had to, my barber instructor actually, he seen some dude, homeless guy at the bus stop, and he told him, hey, you want to make $20 and get treated like a king? And he said, hell yeah. So that's actually how I ended up having a model for my exam when I went for my license.
So you didn't even know your model. Like, usually for the battles and stuff, you kind of know your model, the hair type. Right. It was just some dude that was chilling. Dang. I could have went one of two ways.
The freshest homeless guy out there.
No kidding.
For sure.
Yeah. Dang. He got straight that day.
Yeah. That's insane.
Dang, that's crazy.
What made you guys start cutting hair, JR?
It kind of just came naturally. I'm like an artist at heart, I'd say. So I just like to create, So I've always cut hair, like middle school, messing around, cutting my friends up, doing designs on kids, and kind of blossomed from there, man. I didn't graduate high school right away, so barber school was the only thing you could do without a high school diploma. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I already had a decent little following coming to my house, so it's like let's start it up. Let's go to school. So that's how it all started. That's how it all kicked off, man.
Hell yeah.
I was one of those clients.
Yeah, Brad, yeah.
In the kitchen, yeah. That was crazy. I've known JR, like, when did we meet? Like, second grade or something crazy?
Broncos against the Packers in the Super Bowl.
It's crazy. Second grade, and then, I don't know, somewhere down the line, I'd go and get my hair cut on my lunch breaks at Walmart in your kitchen, like right across the street. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
I feel like every barber has such a cool story. I feel like I've never met a barber and they're like, well, I just grew up in a really nice house, and I just went and got like a college degree. Everyone is like,
one of those things.
It's a grind, man.
It's a certain kind of person that it takes, you know what I mean?
There are those stories out there, but those are the people that you see don't really last in the game because they don't really have the passion for it. They don't love it like that. You know what I mean? So they give it a try, but they usually fall off or give up. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. Yeah, I love the barber community. Like,
it's pretty cool, man. A lot of people, they're real supportive of each other. Especially, it's like artists, a whole bunch of artists. You know what I mean? Everyone's doing their own thing, and so there are, of course, those competitive people, haters or whatever. But overall, like, the community is real cool, real positive, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know your situation was a little different, but I mean, was it because there wasn't a lot of options while incarcerated to, you know, obtain something that could be used on the outside, or something to pass the time and you just fell in love with it, or were you doing it before?
I did it before because I didn't get in trouble until I was like 16, and then I didn't end up going to prison until I was like 17.
Oh, okay.
But when I was 13, I just did it as a hobby. You know, it was something I like to do, cutting my friends, you know, in the backyard. And I just enjoyed doing it. But being in that prison setting, I didn't know what my options was going to be. I knew I was getting out, you know, but I didn't want to get a late start in life and not know what I was going to do professionally. I didn't know if, you know, going to the NBA was realistic at that point or anything like that. And my barber instructor was actually the owner of Aguilar's out here. He was the barber instructor in that facility. So it gave me an opportunity to come out and make something of my life and to get reintegrated into society and be more productive.
That's huge. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have a little bit of a prison background myself, but it was like on the other side. And that was one thing that I always harped on them, was like, there's not enough things for them to do while they're in there to actually better themselves for the future. They had barbers in there, but I don't think there was the whole, you know, barber school in there.
Right.
Now, this was in the feds, so the feds are a little different, but the state is a little more proactive in that area. But that is, I mean, I feel like barbering is such a huge alleyway because dudes are used to fast cash. And I feel like barbering kind of fills that void with cash. You always have money in your pocket at the end of the day, but it's just more legitimized now, you know?
Absolutely.
So I think that could be something huge that I think is still people could benefit from, you know, everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think people realize how profitable it is, and it is a legit business, you know?
Yeah.
That's huge.
And having a trade is important, you know, especially for people trying to get back into society. And a lot of places, I mean, I think more now you have more opportunities as felons. People are more open-minded to hiring more felons, but I think having that trade secured is a great step for them. And you're right. I have clients that work in the feds and work in state prisons, and we were just talking about that last week, that they still, I mean, there's barbers in there taking and servicing people that have this skill, but they have no way to certify them and you know, get them to that next level.
Yeah, grow the industry and everything, you know? And make it legit. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if they have to be licensed to cut in there or not. You know, I would think so.
They don't.
But that's so insane, you know.
Yeah,
so
they don't.
even giving them that opportunity would really set them up for success the first day out, you know. Because, I mean, as you guys probably know, it's kind of hard to find barbers, you know, for a barbershop.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. I guess that brings us to our next topic is what did the steps look like leading up to your new shop opening up? Tell us a little bit about that. Both of you, yeah, either way.
I got a little bit more experience in this, so I'm gonna let him share because this is kind of like his first rodeo, man. And honestly, like it's been a joy for me, like from day one. Like I was hard on this guy. Like don't get it twisted. Like he came to me like for a job, and I'm like, go get your license. And I feel like because I did that to him for him, that he came back so much stronger and so much better, and he appreciates it because he put in the work, the time, and he accomplished that for himself. Nobody held his hand through it. It was like, nah, you know. And sometimes a no will do that for somebody, you know. It'll give them a swift kick in the ass, you know, and wake somebody up and say, you know what, I got to go get this if this is what I want. And he did that, man, and I'm so proud of this dude because he's been such a big help for me and in my business, and we vibe, you know, like he's always worked beside me, you know, and we feed off of each other, you know, and work and training others, and as far as like, you know, just the whole vibe in the shop, you know. So
that's huge.
This is my main man right here. So like when the opportunity came up, you know, I'm like, yo, we got to do this. Like, let's do this. Like, I don't want to leave you out on this. I want you to come along. So it's been a joy to see him, the growth. And so I'm going to let him talk, man, and let him tell you what it's been like. And then I'll share, you know, from my perspective of, you know, getting this thing off the ground and how it's been for him.
So for me, it's been pretty cool, man. Los came to me, was like, yo, we got this opportunity in the mall. Like, you want to do it? So I was like, yeah, I mean, definitely. the mall's a dope location. You know, mad traffic is going to be through there. Everyone goes to the mall, whether you hate on it or not. You still got to go. But as far as getting it off the ground, I feel like we've been kind of like, I helped him get moved to the new shop that we were at. So I don't know if you guys knew, we were in probably 2,000 square feet in Pueblo West, and then we scoot over to the other shop. And so like I didn't help him financially with that, but like watching him do the whole process, what had to take place, you know what I mean, really just helped us set me up for this next one. And so I mean, stacked up some money, saved a little bit of money, had some money saved. He had came to me, and we got going. I mean, it's, I don't know how to say it. It's pretty easy. I hate to say it like that right now, but like it's not easy. But I feel like the way we've been going has been easy.
Yeah.
So the people at the mall, they've been super cool with us as far as like setting all that stuff up, giving us time to set up the shop. We got blessed with everything in the shop, so like that was super easy. We're just making it ours, you know what I mean? Taking the space, creating it, making it into a good vibe to where people are going to want to come in, people are going to want to work there. And yeah, that's really about it.
What kind of vibe is the barbershop going to have? What are you going for?
Real modern, real clean. We did white, black and white, everything.
Nice.
We'll have little touches of like green plants and stuff in
Nice,
there.
yeah.
But really just a real chill, modern, clean vibe. We want our barbers to be able to see in there, so that's why we went with all white.
Nice.
It was brown, so like you turn the lights on, it's kind of, everyone gets a yellow tint in there.
Probably painted in like 1990 the last
Exactly,
time.
yeah. So as far as the footwork, that's like painting, you know what I mean? We're getting new stations, we're getting all that kind of stuff sorted out. And then as we grow, we plan on building it more, but it kind of came, like I said, it's easy. It came
because it was a salon before, right?
Yeah, it was Master Cuts, and so we just
the footprint was there. It's just putting your own twist on it, updating the things that need to be updated.
Yeah,
it looked like your old granny's beauty salon. You know what I'm saying? When you first walk in there.
Yeah, so now it'll be tight. Yeah, you guys will be.
I'm excited.
Be pretty pumped to be in there. So, yeah, I mean, it's been cool. It's been a good process. I don't know. I'm mumbling now.
So for me, you know, and I think it helps when you have people around you who know what they're doing, and you know, so he could be like, yo, what do you think about this? Or, you know, bounce something off me, I bounce something off him. And that's always, they say 2 heads is better than 1, you know, so I think that's always a bonus, man, and a benefit when you have someone that you can bounce things off of. And for me, like, I've done it a couple times, so like with the paperwork, stuff like this, and then, you know, Brad hooking us up, helping us, you know, with all the legalities and taking care of the trade name and the EIN numbers and stuff like that. A lot of times people don't realize, like, you know, what needs to be done when starting a business, and those are the first things you got to do. Is you got to be able to get that trade name, you got to be able to get that EIN number, you know, and that kind of stuff. Getting
that's
the
why I
licenses
say
through the
it's so
state.
easy, is because like the team that we've built, and that's not even like a direct team, but the connections we have with Brad, we're bouncing stuff off each other. Like we each have people that we family that has come and help us, you know what I mean, painting,
That's huge.
Come in, you know what I mean. And so like we have a really good team, we have a really good following. The people that support us, they're there for us, you know what I mean. Like we said, Brad has made that process real easy, and that's like, I feel like that's the number one thing that stops people from opening a business, is because they don't want to deal with starting up their LLC and messing with their taxes. Like I was just talking to one of these other barbers this morning, and they're like, man, I hate the taxes. Like it's tax season obviously right now, you know what I mean? And they're like, man, I hate it. And I'm like, you got to get with Brad, because like now I don't worry about that. Yeah, I used to, you know what I mean? I used to be that dude at the end of the year, like, man, hate my taxes. You know, you got anxiety.
Trying to
You're
find
like,
all my receipts.
how much am I going to pay this year? Yeah, but when you get a good solid team like that, stuff like this becomes easy when you're able to, like, when you're ready to do it, you build the foundation and everything else will fall in place. You know, master the little things and everything else will fall in place.
I agree. Brad was the first person I called when I even had the slightest idea of jumping ship from my normal 9 to 5. I called him. I was like, yo, what does this kind of look like? And he was like, yeah, man, you're like good, you know, just do X, Y, and Z and you'll be all right. Okay. You know,
Yeah,
whatever.
and it's
I trust you.
it gives you the confidence, right?
Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, cool. Like
Yeah.
let's get this ball rolling, you know? So just knowing the numbers, knowing that you have a team behind you, it makes the process a lot easier for sure.
Damn, I feel good. I appreciate y'all.
Well, it's real, man, because people, like, come tax time, man, like, if you don't know what you're doing, man, like, that causes you a whole lot of anxiety and stress, and, you know, you take that burden off of people's lives, man, like, that's a blessing. That is a gift in itself, you know.
Just with the money.
It's the worst. That's the worst
It's
people
priceless,
owe money
man,
to,
because
too.
people they be like turtles, man. They'll get in that shell when it come tax time. They be hiding, they scared, you know, they don't know what to do. No, they don't even know where to begin, you know, especially if you don't prepare and keep track of all your stuff throughout the year, man. That could be a big snowball on you.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that will come in and they're like, so and so recommended me to you. I'm like 4 years behind. Like, I just didn't do it 1 year, and it's not just in your industry, just all around, you know.
Yeah,
people like you let 1 year go behind, and then people really don't. They're like, oh, I really don't want to deal with it now. And
the anxiety just builds, and you really just put it off, and then that's how you end up losing everything. You know what I mean? Because then the IRS come knocking on your door, like, hey.
Yeah, those penalties add up way worse than whatever your taxes too. That's what people don't understand. Is like the failure to file penalty is way more than the failure to pay. Like the IRS wants you to file so that way they know how much you owe them, and it's not as bad if you don't file and they're like, okay, what does this guy owe me? That's when they're mad. That penalty is way worse.
Why are you ducking me? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, that's exactly
I
what
don't care
it's
that
like.
you owe me, but
I need to know how much you owe
you
me. I need to know when you're gonna pay me. What's that monthly gonna be?
So as far as like getting the business going and everything, when you have a solid team, it makes it a lot.
Yeah, I think it's huge.
Definitely.
Like,
you can go through those moves with confidence at that point. You know, you have a backbone and a solid somebody to your left. You know, if things start to get a little crazy, you can always rely on the other person to like kind of talk you through it and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's huge to have
Yeah.
someone to bounce stuff off of.
Well, and
Like,
that's as business owners now. Imagine like barbers who are independent contractors, you know, that are not, I mean, they're basically running their own business. They don't realize that, you know, they just think, well, I'm working for somebody paying rent, but you still got to do your taxes and you still got to, you know, take care of your business.
Those books and
even
everything.
even as an independent contractor, a booth renter or whatever. And I think that's going to be one of the great things about this shop too, is that we have him, you know, he's going to take care of payroll and help us with that.
That's
and help
huge.
our people that are working with us, you know, make sure that they stay
They're on
correct, man,
point,
and take some of that burden off of them, man, you know. So
Yes.
That's huge.
All of our barbers will
Yeah.
be Brad, most definitely. And just so he can give them, you know what I mean, their options. You know, there's a lot of shops that you can go to and you'll work for, and they don't want to teach you the business side of it, which, I mean,
I get it.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it. You know, you got to keep your people around, but at the same time, like, I feel like if you're just passing the knowledge and you're sharing with people, like, that good karma is going to come back to you anyway, and you're just going to teach the next person, and then you'll caterpillar that some dude to butterfly into his own shop, and then you get the next to go. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
like
so yeah, like, that's what the plan with the new shop. We plan on kind of getting everybody's financials right. You know, these guys can't even buy cars or houses sometimes, you know, because they don't have their tax situation right. So
Even just the knowledge, just the little things, you know, like writing off your booth rent and all that good stuff. Like, I feel like a lot of people leave a lot on the table, you know.
a lot of people just resort to like just not claiming money, you know, and that's how they do it. And it's like, you know, if you do it right, you can claim all your money. It's clean money at that point. Claim it all and write it off, and at the end of the day, your tax bill's the same, you know, whether you did or not. But
is the thing I see a lot is where they'll do that, and so say they keep their tax bill low, they're writing all kinds of stuff off, and then they end up getting behind on their taxes, and if they would have just paid, because they're worried about paying anyway. You know what I mean? Oh, I don't want to pay all this. But then you end up fucking skipping and all that, and you owe $6-7 grand at the end of the year. And it was like, bro, if you would have just paid that.
And like having a whole shop full of you know, your whole team educated whether they're employees or whether they are booth rent or subcontractors, like if they're educated, like that's going to go way further than just a group full of people that aren't really educated, because money causes problems too, you know. Like if you have a shop full of people who are like, oh, like my car broke down, I can't even go get another car, or I'm not handling my money right, like, you know, I couldn't even afford this, or like my clippers broke or something, like then it's, you know, it comes back on the shop. But you have a team full of like well-educated people in the business side and in the actual hair industry side, like
exactly, like we could teach anyone how to cut. Like Los and I have taught so many people that have come through the shop how to cut, you know. But it's the business side that most people are missing. And so with this new shop, that's my goal, you know what I mean, is to have everybody thriving, everybody learning, everybody leveling up, you know, because like there is levels. You're in your garage cutting for $10, you know, maybe you get your license, now you're cutting for 20, and then you level up again and you maybe open your own shop. You know what I mean? Maybe you get your suite, maybe you're just raising your prices and you're still working at the same shop, but you're just leveling up your prices and, you know what I mean, doing your thing within there. So
maybe go do education.
We taught some people how to cut hair that you wouldn't even think be barbers, huh? And then you just get in there and get a nice, man, they give you a clean cut too, man.
Yeah.
But I think people don't like to share the business aspect of it because they want to keep people in bondage and don't want them and have the fear of them moving on to the next thing, man. But it's not even about that, man. You should be dropping jewels on people all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you can help somebody get to the next level, you should be trying to do that and not living in fear of, you know, if someone's going to leave your shop and go to somebody else's shop or do their own thing. Like, you should be happy for them, man. I'm always happy for the people who have not even gone to their own shops but just made lateral moves, man, and just, you know, because that's what they feel like is best for them and their family at that time. And I can never hate on someone for doing something like that. You know, you make a move that you feel like, you know, because it's scary as it is, you know, and then you got to go tell your boss or whoever that, you know, you moving on or whatever. Like, they should get that support from you, man, and that encouragement, and know that, hey, man, like, if it don't work out, I can come back. Or if I have a question, I have people that, you know, have left and open shops, and they'll be calling me or texting me like, hey, how do you do this, how you do that, or, you know, and I'm always there for them, man. And I think, and in turn, like, I get blessed that way, you know what I'm saying?
Of course. It always comes back, for sure.
For sure.
Yep.
Dang, that's huge. So what does that process going from booth rent to shop owner look like? You know, like with your own personal financial or anything, like what is some of the biggest roadblocks been so far?
Clientele. I think if you're going to open your own shop, you have to have clientele. A lot of people will try to open a shop and they might be booked out a day or two, and it's like, that's not going to last you all month and pay your bills, you know. Like, you can get some walk-ins, but number one, booth rent. So a lot of people will start on commission or hourly from the very bottom, you know what I mean, if you're talking start leveling up. So some people will start hourly, build a little confidence in their skills, maybe switch to commission once they got their skills up, you know, and then commission, you're still getting a solid check. You don't have to worry about paying rent. That's what a lot of people are worried about. Then you level up again, and then you're paying rent, managing your money, you know what I mean? And then once you manage your money, you got your clientele right, you might be able to open a shop. But a lot of people have asked me, like, I've been in here about 10 years, so they're like, bro, why it's taking you 10 years to open a shop? What's the holdup? You know what I mean? But I had a lot of other personal goals that I was trying to iron out first.
Yeah, there wasn't no holdup. You was doing you.
Yeah, I was doing my thing. Where I was working was cool, you know what I mean? Aguilar, solid spot, like, so.
If it's not broke, don't fix it, you know?
Exactly, yeah. So I feel like, too, if you are trying to make that move, make sure you're not trying to make it too fast, you know? Because now, 10 years in, I'm confident making this move, you know what I mean? But say 5 years ago, I would have been, you know what I mean? I would have been.
I mean, you won't allow yourself to fail, but you're in a way better, you know, position now, you know, with the education side of things that you do,
I'm not
your
afraid
skill
to fail
set
right now.
Yeah.
You know, and if I do fail, it's not detrimental to me. You know what I mean?
Just go right back to doing what you're doing now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll still be fine. But 5 years ago, if you're failing and you're not, you don't have clientele, your money's not right, like, it's gonna hit you a little harder. You know what I'm saying?
No, most definitely.
Yeah.
What about you?
So I think the big difference is is when you go from being a renter to being an owner, is the responsibility falls solely on you, the bills, whatever. So you got to have the clientele to support that. So whether you got one booth renter or you got 10, you know, some days you're gonna have more barbers, and sometimes you're gonna not have as many. You got to be willing to be able to support that business and keep that business afloat, and still be able to keep your home afloat. You know, so I just think the responsibility falls more on you, as opposed to like if you're a booth renter and, you know, like you just worried about you and your home, you know. But now you have everybody else's livelihood. Like you got to keep everything together, and you got to keep that business afloat, because if you got 10 barbers in there, well, now you got 10 people's livelihood and their families depending on you, you know, and you're responsible for trying to take care of that. Yeah, it's their responsibility to show up to work, but you got to keep the doors open. You got to keep the bills paid, right?
Keep the lights on.
That's right.
It's hard to cut in the dark.
For sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that was one thing too, as I wasn't ready for that responsibility, you know what I mean? I didn't want that. You know,
in a toilet paper shortage, you can't get toilet paper for your own house, but you still need toilet paper for the shop, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what do you do?
It's the little things like that you never think of
that.
until it comes
That's when
up.
you going downstairs and taking toilet paper out your house. Like, you know, here's a roll or two, you know what I'm saying? Like,
take that 2-ply, turn it into 2 rolls.
Just close the bathroom off and just let them know, hey, it's closed. I don't know.
This might get us through the week, man, till we can find some more.
No, absolutely. That's insane. Where do you see people in the industry making their biggest mistakes, whether booth renting or shop owning?
For me, I'd say on both ends is just availability. People want you to be available, you know, and I think a lot of people just get comfortable with just making either the bare minimum or enough to get by. Especially starting out, you know, I think you need, if you're trying to build a clientele, you need to be there, man, open to close, and that got to be your schedule for a while. And people want you to be available, man. I remember for years, man, I was a slave to my schedule, and just recently, like, I just started taking lunch because this dude was taking lunch, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, every day he takes lunch at a certain time. And I would work through my days, like, and not even take lunch and be hungry and just eating snacks, you know, or whatever. And people would just keep booking and booking if you let them, you know, and they'll run you like that. But, you know, I just got better at, you know, taking lunches this year, man. Just like, man, I'm getting old, man. Like, I got to start taking care of my body, or else I ain't going to be behind this chair for much longer. And I learned that from him.
You going to the gym with him at 4 a.m.?
Nah. I work another job I got to be at 4 a.m.
Oh,
so,
man. See, the hustle doesn't stop.
Nah,
That's
it sure it don't, man. But so I think a lot of people just not being available, man, or think, well, you know, they just flake off on their schedules or whatever. And your clients, man, like, you might be good, man, but we got a town full of good barbers, you know. Like, our industry truly is great in this town, in Pueblo. And they'll go somewhere else, or they'll sit in somebody else's chair in the shop, you know, and be like, yo, like, you wasn't around, you know, and it hurts them in the long run. It don't really hurt the business, especially if they're staying in the shop, you know.
What about you?
I would say customer service, professionalism definitely hurts you the most. People pay attention to that, you know what I mean? If you're canceling on them all the time, you know what I mean? If you're doing all these, like, you're cut them one way one week, and then the next time they come in, it's a different cut. You know what I mean? Just little customer service things like that. You know what I mean? People notice, like, he used aftershave on me this time, didn't use it on me last time. You know what I mean?
Hot towel. That's the one for me. Yeah.
So consistency, customer service, and that's, like, as far as, like, cutting goes. But then, like, again, the financials is probably one of the biggest things, because I see a lot of people leave the industry because they'll cap out because they don't understand how to level up from there, you know. So you can be a booth renter and still be leveling up. You can pull 6 figures from being a booth renter and not owning your own business, you know. And a lot of people don't want to get to that next, well, I feel like they do want to get to that next level maybe, but they don't know how, or they don't want to put in the work. And I have literally had barbers tell me, like, yo, like, I'm like, yo, you want to do what I do? Like, I'll teach you how to do it. And they literally told me, like, dude, I'm not trying to work as hard as you.
Whatever.
And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, okay.
I guess if you're honest with yourself, dang.
I respect it,
but yeah, you can't expect that's you know, it's a big that's a big L I see in the industry for sure, is financials, not learning your financials, not learning the business side, and having customer service. Like if you can, I feel like if you're a trash barber at cutting hair, like your technique, if you're giving bad haircuts, but you have good customer service and you know your financials, you could still make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. Like
Yeah,
people will
It's almost like a triangle.
yeah, if they like you, like, and you're giving bad haircuts, they're gonna come back to you anyway. They don't care if their haircut was bad. Like most people, like they don't pay attention the way we pay attention. You know what I mean? Like we notice if your sideburn is crooked or if your line in the back is crooked. You know what I mean? But 9 times out of 10, like the person don't really care. You know what I mean?
They look and feel better than the way they walked in.
Exactly. Yeah. So they're like, cool, whatever. I'm out. You know. So
Yeah, it is crazy. Like, out of all the people you cut, every time I still go in, it's like, I feel like you're like, oh, okay, we doing a 2 still? Like, for you, you know, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, how do you even remember you're cutting people like 7, 8 people a day, 6 days a week, 7 days a week sometimes. I'm like,
He's been giving you the 2 since you were in his kitchen.
yeah, I know.
this is the kitchen, bro.
It's like-
I mean, I agree.
Start
I mean,
calling you Two-Ski.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I even in my industry with photos and stuff, like in video, I notice things that in other photographers, you know, are lacking. You know, little things like the horizon's off, their shit's crooked. And I'm like, there's a leading line and it's crooked and there's no reason for that to be there. You know, it's a 1-button click and you fix it, but it just comes down to my attention to detail. But like when you receive photos, you're just so pumped that you didn't have a double chin in it that you're like, oh man, this is the shit. You got to go to this guy.
Like you just
know?
said that, I would never look at my photos that you said
that's a big
that
thing.
we did with you and like, oh yeah, he messed up my horizon on this.
Yeah,
picture.
my horizon's fucked. Yeah.
Dang, David,
would,
I'm gonna tell him something about that next time he does a
You know,
photo
What's going on with the exposure in this thing? Yeah.
You know, same thing, customer service. I don't tell people that I do it, but if you got a pimple, I'm going to take it out, you know, like automatically, you know, without asking. Some people upcharge for that, and that is what it is, you know, skin smoothing, all that stuff. But like, if I do it for you one time and then I don't do it for you the next time, like that's got to be kind of weird. Like, unless I just legit forgot, you know, which that could happen, but yeah, like I might miss 1 or 2 on, you know, a couple poses, you know, but for the most part, like I want you to see yourself how others see you. And when you look at a photo, you look at your imperfection, you know, same thing. When you look at a cut, you're looking for the imperfection no matter what. Every time, what could I have done different? You know, that's huge, and a lot of people don't understand that.
I'm a great client for both of you because I don't pay attention to either.
Not at all. If he saw how much I played with like his photos and his videos and stuff, and I just send it, and he's like, "No, it looks good. I'll send him the thumbnails for this podcast." He's like, "Looks great, man." I'm like, "Well, you don't think the font's too big on the top part?" No, man, I didn't even notice.
That's like the equivalent to us like handing someone the mirror and they're just like, look at it real quick. Okay, cool, that's good. And we're like, did you look at the back? What about the side? Did you like the sideburns? How's that blend? Like, you know what I mean? But some people are like, oh yeah, cool. That's
what I do. For me, it's like I just have the confidence in what you guys both do. You know what I mean?
Don't even hand me the mirror.
Honestly, I was literally thinking that.
People like that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking that last time I was getting a haircut, and I was like, "Are you handing me a mirror?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like I was like, in my head, I was like, "Why do you don't need to do this part anymore?" Honestly.
Dang.
I got people like I go to hand it to them out of habit, and they're like, "No, I'm good."
They're already up paying you.
Yeah, they know. Yeah, exactly. I feel like obviously, like with your long-lasting clients, you just know.
Most definitely, yeah.
I trust you.
I'll be like, you want the mirror?
Yeah, no, exactly.
So I wouldn't grab
you want product? Yeah, no, I know you go take a shower after this. You know, little stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's customer service. You
Exactly.
know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm still gonna offer it. Yeah. I don't know what you got
huge.
going on. Maybe you got to go grocery shopping. You know? Yeah. What are some of the goals? I would say personal and for the new barbershop, short, medium, long-term goals for both of you.
Say that one more time.
What are some of your goals? Short-term goals, so like, you know, a few months out. Medium, maybe a year out, and long-term, maybe 3 years out for the shop and for you personally.
So short-term, I'd say, you know, just getting a good crew in there, man. I think that's important, man. I think in order to have a successful business, you got to have a good crew. So I think, you know, getting it open, obviously making it look good, getting a good crew in there, because we want to, I think it's important that we reach everybody, you know, like we don't like to be one-dimensional. That's why it's a barber and beauty, because we want to be able to service men, women, and children. You know, we want families to be able to come in here. And so getting a good crew in there and just getting it off his feet, you know, and then just kind of nursing that baby until she grows up, you know, and can feed herself. And then that would be the long-term goal, man, is, you know, get it to where it just
runs itself.
It just does what it's supposed to do. And we don't have to be so hands-on and it take up all of our attention, because it does. I mean, it's easy, but it does. It takes. It's a lot of work, and it takes time, and it takes your energy and effort, and sometimes that pulls you away from your families.
Having that good balance is key.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, eventually, you know, we'll get to, you know, where it's not like it's just pounding us upside the head, you know, and we can still take our time and, you know, still have our family time, do
Take
vacations,
that lunch break.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. Take that lunch break.
Go get you a pretzel
You
from
know.
the food court.
But also, man, we want to, you know, we want to do some things for the mall. Like, the mall gave us a great opportunity, and I think it's only right that we, in return, you know, reward them with that, you know, because we can bring in traffic to that mall. And I think it's a great thing that they're trying to bring in more local businesses there, because for a few years, I think a lot of people were like, I'm not going to the mall, you know, unless they're going to Foot Locker or Foot Action or Dillard's or what, you know, one of the big stores or whatever. But to just walk the mall and, you know, hit the different shops or whatever. So I think it's a good thing that they're trying to do, bring in more local businesses, and that's what it should be, man, because we have young entrepreneurs out here like this dude, you know, that have a lot to offer to this community, that grew up here, you know, and love being here, and, you know, love being around their own people and giving back. And so, you know, we want to be able to do that for the mall too, you know, bring in some of that good traffic, man, and bring those families back into the mall and generate, you know, let our business help generate business for the other businesses, you know. Just one hand washes the other, you know.
Of course. That's awesome.
So, and me personally, man, I want to retire in a couple of years. Man. You know what I'm saying?
Just let it run itself.
Yeah. So I think short term for me too is just get the team going, get the shop rolling, and kind of get back to a normalcy for me, because getting the shop going, like, it's a lot. So I'm working still my normal hours, and then on the days off we're at the new shop working on that. So right now it's just go. So I'm ready to get kind of back to just a regular 5-day schedule, have the weekends off. So short term for me, probably that. About a year out, I want this thing rocking. You know what I mean? We want this shop popping, and it will be. I mean, so like you said, it'll get popping. So
if you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
It's just
Feel the
I don't know.
dreams,
It's
baby.
weird, man. I just have a weird feeling about it, a weird confidence about it. Like, it's just even like we've talked about it. There's been times where we were like, man, like, what are we gonna do about this, or what are we gonna do about that? You know, and I was like, it'll come. It's gonna happen. You know what I mean? And
iron itself out.
Yeah. We're both real religious. You know what I mean? And so, God provides. You know what I mean? And
Amen.
it's all good. So, and then past that, personal for me, I mean, maybe get another one going.
Yeah,
Who
1 to
knows?
2.
You know,
Yeah.
Number 2. Maybe I just nurture this one into the dopest one in town and just have this one little gem, you know. And, but yeah, I'm about to get married.
Oh, congratulations!
You know, so a few months here, and then plan on having a kid or something after that. So, you know, life is taking off. You know, we're rolling. So goals are going, everything's going. Man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's huge. Absolutely, having that support at home and everything, you know, pushing you, believing in you, like, that makes all the difference for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. You have to have the home straight, or else you ain't gonna be able to do nothing. I think all 4 of us know that.
Exactly. Yeah.
You'd be like,
You're like half the story.
You hear your phone, and you're like, "Oh man, I hope those are clients." No, that's awesome. That's awesome. What do you? So we have like a reoccurring question we ask here, and you can. We'll start with you. But what do you want your lasting legacy to be? What do you want that's going to outlive you?
my lasting legacy. Honestly, man, I don't like to brag about me. You know, I was just having this conversation the other day. Like, I feel like everybody could talk about me at my funeral. You know, I just want to give back, man. I feel like for a long time, a lot of years of my life, man, I took so much away from other people, away from society and communities, that I just find so much joy, man, in just seeing the impact, man, when I can help somebody, make somebody smile. And I want my kids to just know, like, and my grandkids, like, damn, like, he gave so much of himself for other people. And whether it's on the spiritual aspect, whether it's financial, whether it's just things that I learned through my hardships, through my great times, like, I just want to share all of that with people, man, and make a difference in other people's lives. Because at the end of the day, like, when I'm gone, like, I'm gone, you know. Like, I hope I made a difference in your life and in your life and in his life, you know. And my kids can hang their hat on that and maybe even do the same, you know. Because, you know, yeah, we want to live good lives and be happy and have fun. I think that's all important. But at the end of the day, when we're gone, you know. All we have is what did we leave with other people, you know, that lasting legacy. And so that's what I want. I want other people to be like, man, he just gave so much of himself and gave back and did so much more better than he did bad, because we all make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? And,
absolutely.
I don't want that skill to even be close, man, you know what I'm saying? I want that bad to be like way down here and that good to be way up here, and then just be like, yo, he got a second chance or a third opportunity at life, and he rocked it. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. That was great. Good luck, man. You set the bar real high. You went full Nipsey Hussle on us.
I don't know. I just want to be really rich. That's my last thing.
Like, shit, I just want to make sure I catch all these shoe drops and my kids are good.
No. Lasting legacy, man, is just hard work, man. My family, I come from hard work. You know, a lot of my family is just hard workers, and it's been a level up each generation, I feel like, in my family, and so I'm just trying to do the same, you know, like level up, leave that legacy as far as like everyone else when they look at grandpa, like, okay, he leveled this up, like let's level the family up again, you know, and see where we are, you know, because that's really, if you look at like families, societies, and our society, it's like it's all a level up, you know what I mean? It's all just leaving something for the next generation, you know what I mean?
That's huge.
So yeah, that's kind of what I want to do, man. This is just the next step. This is the level up, you know.
Yeah. Hell yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
You know, what do they say, like your great grandfather walked to work, the next grandpa, you know, he drove, you know, a Chevy to work, and then your grandpa drove, you know, maybe a nicer import, you know, and your dad drove a Maserati to work. Odds are you're walking to work. You know, that next generation, you know, it falls off. Brad always talks about generational wealth and, you know, all that stuff. I think it's awesome that every generation keeps pushing in your family to do better and, you know, maintain that status and hard work ethic. That's absolutely huge.
It's hard to pass down.
It is, yeah, it is. And it's it's one of those things that I feel like is important to do for your family, just especially with the way society is now, man. Like, you have to have something, you know what I mean? Or you can get left in the dust real quick in the United States right now.
That's
like,
dope, man, because... And
it's crazy.
I mean, just something like that, because kids are so entitled, you know what I mean? They get so entitled, and, you know, the work ethic isn't the same, you know, so to see someone, you know, like 3 generations here that I know of, you know, that are hard workers, and, you know, they break their back, and to still see this dude young and be like, yo, I'll grind every day, you know. And he was one of them guys, and that goes back to what I was saying, like, you know, I kind of made him work for it when I told him no, and he appreciates that, and he knows what he got. And he was one of them dudes that was like open to close. Like, I ain't have to worry. Like, shop was open. I knew shop was open. If I wasn't there, shop was open. JR was going to be there. If I'm not going to be there, when JR would be there and shop closes, because he was that dude that even if he had a client in his chair at that time, he'd sit there and wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll come. Even if it's one at a time, they'll come. And eventually that book will be stacked up. And that's what happened. He knew he had the vision, you know, and I told him, I'm like, yo, just stay here and you'll build up, you know, just be here as much as you can. And he did it. He took heed to it and he did it. And now he passes that wisdom on to other people, you know.
Most definitely. Yeah, that's the lasting legacy, you know. And it's not just for my family. I want to do it with this shop. That's why I plan on, you know, teaching all these people like the financial side and trying to get our barbers right. I'd like all of our barbers to be six-figure barbers, everybody in there, you know what I mean? And there's no reason why they shouldn't be or they can't be, you know? And so, just passing the knowledge on, helping people, like he said, that's what it's really about, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like you said, you're gone. So, like, if you can help as many people as you can while you're here, you might as well, you know, because why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that hard work will make sure I'll never get a haircut then.
I was going to say,
keeps going at
Brad's already waiting forever, so.
I got my notifications on once JR posts. He's like, books are open. I'm like, I'm in there, man.
No, and that's huge. That's, you know, that's what you want, and that's, you know, things that I'm sure you're instilling in newer barbers, you know, like that, you know, why not you? Why, you know, that definitely could happen for you.
Yeah,
you know?
and I feel like people here in town, like, it's a far-fetched idea because, like, it's people don't think that you could make that kind of money here in town, and it's like they don't understand because we get to interact with all these different people as barbers, and you'd be surprised how many people get money in Pueblo. Like, absolutely, people get money here, and so it's like, it's crazy that, like, you'll have some guy, he's charging $10 a haircut, and he's like, oh, I'm afraid to raise my prices, and it's like, dude, like, you'd be surprised how many people out here are not going to you because you're $10. You know what I mean? Like, there's guys that are like, oh, he's too cheap. He must not be that good, or
what's he reusing razors? What's going on?
Yeah, why is he? You might be cold. You know what I mean? He might love your haircuts, but if you're not there, like, if you don't have that confidence in yourself, like, and so I feel like Pueblo's on the come up right now. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, you know, as much as the locals hate seeing all these different license plates driving around getting cut off by people who with Texas license plates and stuff, you know, like it is changing the culture, and people are realizing you can pay for a premium experience here, and they're bringing those ideologies from other places here, and it's becoming more of a melting pot, which is great. You know, I love that.
Yeah, Pueblo used to have that, like,
small town
Pueblo price.
Yeah,
we got you. What's that Pueblo price? In Springs you could pay $40, but in Pueblo that better be $20. You know what I mean? But
what are you going to drive to Springs? Go ahead.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not like that anymore. Like, people here are really, really out here getting it. You know what I mean? And building successful businesses and bringing stuff, like you said, from out of state, and it's pretty cool, man. So we're trying to be a part of that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you guys are definitely on the right track. That's awesome. You guys have a strong foundation, so it's just time to build, you know, upward for sure. Well,
you're gonna see a shift too. I mean, it's already in progress, man, because you see there's young business owners coming down to the historic downtown area doing things. The Riverwalk has done great things, and they're expanding, and, you know, I think we're getting younger people on city councils and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's changing.
And new vision, you know what I'm saying? And that's how we evolve, man, is getting these younger people. Man, I hate to refer to it like this, but like the next generation, like this guy that are willing to step up and be like, you know what, like, I'll do a business, like, let's do it, you know, and start doing different things, man. But there's still all those people out there that cheap, man. They be like, man, they'll go up to Denver. I got a couple. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna put them on blast with them. But I got a couple, man. They be like, man, you know, they'll go up to Denver, and I know they getting waxed for $40 a cut. You know what I'm saying? And then they be giving you them $2 tips, bro. They be like, come on, man.
Dang. You get tipped? That's crazy.
Yeah, right?
I was gonna say it's weird. I mean,
tip your photographers,
right? I mean, I honestly feel weird when people tip me. So don't tip me. That's super weird. I'm like, oh man, that's super awkward.
Yo, I tip everywhere. We was up at the summit, and the lady bought one of the cards for the kids to play the games, and it had a tip thing on there, and I was like, I scratched it out. I just gave her $10 in cash. Yeah. But she was like, oh, are you sure? Thank you. You know, I was like, yeah, ask for a tip. You know what I'm saying? So I tip everywhere, man, because especially now, man, with everything that people have been through and customer service. If you get someone that's giving you good customer service,
Yeah, hell yeah.
you should reward that.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Most definitely. I think, yeah, when we're in the industry, like, it is like you're in a tipping industry, you tip. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. So,
Yeah.
like, if someone does a service for you, someone does anything for you, I feel like
Yeah, and
tip
I'm
is
not.
something, even a thank you.
Take
is
out
cool
anything.
sometimes,
Exactly,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? At least.
I don't get tips, so that's why I don't tip anyone.
That makes sense.
That's why.
That's funny.
You give tips all the time, man. I see you get on these podcasts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you
Tax
always
Tuesday
giving
tips,
tips.
baby.
That's your tips, man.
Financial tips.
You
man.
giving tips, bro.
See, we need to start a new series called Tip Thursdays. Something. I'm just trying to stay employed with Brad. Well, sweet. I want to thank you guys again for coming on and spitting all the knowledge and stuff. I can't wait for the new shop to open up. I'm sure there'll be a grand opening and all that good stuff. Make sure follow them down below. We'll link their Instagram and stuff, and you can see the progress and how it's flourishing. But thank you again. It is the Lasting Legacy Podcast. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts. Good night.